glad you could join me this morning to follow this video. I'll be working in pastels today. It's been snowing, so we've got a lovely background here that we can use. I'm going to work in the garden. We're going to do a chicken shed, I think, which has got some nice snow on the surface. We haven't got a lot of time as the sun's going to melt the snow. We're going to get on with it pretty quickly. It'll be soft pastels on a paper background. Join me or follow the demonstration, and you can always subscribe if it's something you're interested in. My name is Lennon, and you can also check out my website. Hope you can join me. See you soon.
In preparation for this sketchwork, I prepared my wooden board by cutting the paper to size. I chose this nice subdued yellow because I knew that I'd be using a lot of white and blue for the snow, so it's a good contrasting colour on the colour wheel. And I used some masking tape just to hold the paper in place. Set it up on my easel so that I had a good view of my subject. I chose a neutral grey pastel to suggest where the objects were. Obviously the chicken shed is the main feature. The grey will blend in nicely and won't be too hard as a starting point in case you need to make any alterations along the way. It's a good idea to step back from your sketch after you feel that you've completed it, just to make sure that you've got your perspective correct, the lines are in the right place, everything seems balanced and harmonious before you commit to more detailed work. If there's any alterations that you need to make, it'll be much easier to make at this stage. The next thing that I intend to do is establish some of the darks and lights. I picked up a dark purple, which will be a good contrast for the warmth of the shed. So we'll be looking at the dark purple in the shaded areas, in the areas where we've got some deeper tones. So I'll be setting these in just as a preliminary sketch, see how it's looking. during the winter you get some lovely green algae that grow in the sheds, even though they're a bit of a nuisance, they make everything a little bit slippery. However, they are great for adding character to your sheds and your buildings. So these are the things that you have to think about as you go through and you work your way around the painting. You don't stick to one area, you work around to try and create a balance of colours as you go. I've picked up the white. I'm going to put in some of the whitest whites. Not all the snow is white, it depends if it's in a shaded area, as it's grey on the roof of the back building. However, it's really bright and white on the chicken shed sloping roof. You have to have a variety of lights in order to create a balance. All through your work, while you're sketching, you're looking at your object and you're looking at the scene and you're assessing the lights and the darks, and you're making sure that you're placing those in your sketch as you go along. Spend a lot of time looking and observing, and obviously then you're trying to portray that in your sketch. I use the edge of the pastels to create a defined line. I will use the side of the pastel to create a soft finish, and I'll also use my finger to blend areas that I feel are a bit too defined, where I want them a bit softer. So these are things that you learn through actually using the pastels and practicing your techniques. At this point I start tightening up. I add a little bit more definition and detail to the main focus of the painting, while leaving some of the background areas a little bit more undefined, a bit more diffused, which helps with the sense of perspective. So at this point I decided to stop and have a break, warm my frozen toes up, and have a hot cup of tea. Also gives you 15 minutes away from being close up to the work, and then when you return you can look at it with new eyes and reassess again and decide if you need to do anything else to it to improve upon what you've done so far. At this point I think I'm looking to have a bit more depth of tone, perhaps at the rear tree area. Okay, well, let's give your eyes a little bit of a rest from watching the processes involved in creating a sketch, and show you some examples of some more detailed paintings that have been developed on a large scale from sketches such as this one you're watching today. There are examples available for you to see on my website, and you can also contact me for purchases through the website. So let's hope you can enjoy the rest of the video also. Let's get back to the sketch.
I hope you enjoyed today's demonstration. If you did, there are other videos that you can watch at the end of this. Thank you for joining me.